Hello guys, and welcome to Sea Power, naval combat in the Missile Age. This is a Cold War era simulation strategy game where you take control of and fight against units on land, sea and air. Big thanks to Triassic Games and Microprose for giving me early access to this awesome game, but do bear in mind that it is work in progress and therefore subject to change. If you'd like to check out the game for yourself, I'll leave a link to the Steam page in the description. But today we're going to be taking a look at Dong Hoi, a scenario whereby US warships are planning a naval bombardment of North Vietnam. In this scenario we'll be taking control of one Galveston class missile cruiser, the Oklahoma City, that you can see here in front of you. And then in the distance we have there two Gearing class destroyers, the Higbee and the Lloyd Thomas. And we also have one Belknap class cruiser, the Sterett, which is equipped with some very nice missiles. So let me take you over the UI quickly, and then we can continue with the scenario and I'll show you the briefing. So at the top here we have the compass. On the top right we have the date and time of day, as well as the time dilation options. So at the moment we're currently running this on slow-mo, 0.2 speed. In the bottom left you can see the tactical display, which you can zoom all the way out to view the entire world if you like, but in this case we'll keep it zoomed in on North Vietnam. You can also maximize this if you want to get a better perspective. You can also control your units from this map if you right click on them and go through like so, and you can also just left click and use the options at the bottom. Speaking of the options at the bottom, the way this works is you select a unit. It will tell you what unit you have selected. It will show you the speed, their bearing, the keel, and then the weapons available. So in this case, the Oklahoma City has the RIM 8, 152mm guns, 127mm guns, noisemaker, and chaff. If you're ever wondering what the missile is, or the weapon that they have in this case, you can right-click on the unit itself and go to Unit Reference, and then it will bring up all the information that you could ever want about that particular unit, and you can go through all of the different types of units in here, which there are a lot of. But in this case we'll go to the Galveston class, select the RIM 8, and you can see that it is a surface-to-air missile. So we have 40 of those available, and they fire off this on the back here, so 2 at a time. Then with the Sterett, they have access to the RIM 2F, and we also have access to Ruhr 5s and Mark 46 torpedoes. The Ruhr 5 is basically a rocket system that fires the torpedo into the air and then drops the torpedo into the water, and then it searches for submarines. The Mark 46 is more of a generic torpedo. So as we can see, we are being approached by 2 PT boats of the Vietnamese, but before we engage those, let's go to the mission briefing. And you can see that intelligence reports indicate North Vietnamese are transiting large amounts of troops and supplies along the coastal highway towards Quang Tri province battlefront. Our primary objective is to sail along the coast and destroy any large installations like docks and fuel depots encountered. The guided missile cruiser Sterett is on station to the northeast to provide air cover. So threat reports intelligence suspects targets defended by several coastal artillery sites. Our warning is yellow, so we do not fire unless fired upon. And our MCON is to maintain radio silence until otherwise directed. So currently all of our ships are on MCON, and they are on weapons tight. So on the bottom right here you can see the radar options and then the weapons options. So radar options vary based on the ship, but you have air search radar, surface search radar, and active sonar on these ships, for example. And then weapons options, we have weapons hold, which means they won't fire at all, weapons tight, which means they'll defend themselves, and then weapons free, which they'll engage like any enemy target that they see. So for this mission, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take my units out of formation. So let's just disband this formation, and that will allow me to have free control of the Higbee and the Lloyd Thomas, and they can maintain the same course as the Oklahoma City.
visual contact.
Well, we do have visual contact coming in.
011.
So I'm not sure what that's going to be.
Track
Oh, we already know. It's a MiG-17 bearing down on us very quickly indeed. And our ships are going to open up with their guns in order to try and shoot that down. Now, unfortunately, the Oklahoma City's weapons are too close in order to engage. For the Sterret, it does have access to the RIM 2F, so we're going to be able to use that to engage these MiG-17s. And you'll notice that this is going to load and fire away a couple of missiles to help us out. Might take a little while to load. All the while, the MiGs are getting closer, and we're hoping that a shot can land on target, because those bombs have been released. And our poor destroyers have been hit. Another MiG-17 coming in here. Manages to hit the mark. The missiles have been released from the Sterret, and they'll be flying towards the MiG-17s now. You won't be able to see them for a moment because they're in the clouds. There they go. Homing in on two of the different MiG-17s. The MiG-17s will be going into evasive maneuvers to avoid being hit by these missiles. And there it is. Two successful hits. Perfect. We'll go back to the Sterret, and we're going to engage this MiG-17 that's left over. There they go. Really, really cool watching these missiles be fired. And they'll be taking out the MiG-17s. Now, since we have now been fired upon, the P6s are fair game. Unfortunately, we couldn't avoid being hit by the bombs. You can see the other missile there in the distance. They're both looking for the MiG, which is just there. Unfortunately, in this case, both are going to miss. The Oklahoma City, it does have surface-to-air missiles, these RIM 8s, but you can see this yellow circle here, which is the minimum engagement range. So we're going to have to rely on the Sterret to have another go at shooting that down. So I'm holding shift, right-clicking, in order to fire more than one. We're also going to want to start pulling away from these P6 boats, because if we zoom in on them, you can see that they have fired torpedoes at us. We can't see the torpedoes in the water just yet, so we should probably turn on active sonar. Managed to kill that last MiG though. Down it goes. Beautiful stuff. Okay, so the Sterret now has to deal with these patrol boats sneaking up on it. So we're going to use the same RIM 2 to engage these PT boats. You can see the missiles there loaded at the front. They come out of those bays. So the Sterret's now going to turn so the weapon system can get on target. And then the Oklahoma City, meanwhile, can head towards the next objective. That's one missile away. Hit the P6 boat. Second missile away. This poor P6 won't see it coming till the last second. And that's another good hit. So the Sterret's done its job. We've shot down all of the MiGs. We've taken out the two P6 PT boats that were coming towards us. And those will be burning up in the water. No chance. Since that one's not completely finished off, let's fire another missile at it.
7007.
So the Oklahoma City, the Higbee, and the Lloyd Thomas can all head towards the land-based objective, which is, in this case, the fuel depot over here that we can see. And the Sterret shall finish off the last of the PT boats. Now at this point, we could technically make our units weapons free, and they will just engage at will.
Hit track 70 block away. Track 70.
But as you can see, it just fired a second missile on its own there. The rear gun is firing at that poor PT boat that you'd think is pretty dead by now as it gets hit by another missile. So, good stuff. We're going to keep the Oklahoma City, the Higbee, and the Lloyd Thomas on weapons tight for the time being. I'm going to turn this one back to weapons tight, just so they don't randomly fire at units on the ground here. Since all of that initial engagement is complete, we can speed things up again. And we're waiting for the Oklahoma City to be in range of these fuel tanks. So the 152mm guns are what we're going to have to use, since the Rim 8 cannot be fired at ground installations.
Weapon error. No track assigned. New visual contact. Designate. Track 70.
Now we do have two more small contacts heading towards us. So with that being the case, we're finally going to break MCON, and we're going to do surface search radar on both the Oklahoma City and the Sterret here.
Surface search on. Radar eye.
Now it doesn't look like we ended up getting hit by the torpedoes. We didn't spot them in the water. Still don't know what these are. There are a bunch of like friendly fishing vessels around, these sampans.
002 is classified. Hostile. Building.
We can see more fuel tanks and enemy industry buildings on the coast here that we're going to have to take care of.
3 is classified. Hostile. Warship.
It's another PT boat. Time for the Sterret to have some more fun. We'll have to check the damage as well on our Higbee, because that got hit by 2 sets of bombs. If we go and right click on it and we go to damage control, we can see that it actually survived that pretty well. We can also assume direct control of vessels. If you do that, then you use WASD, you can kind of like move them around, which is really cool.
Turn to course 3 to head standard. Maneuvering eye.
Looks like the second one, also another PT boat. So let's go ahead and engage
track 7
with our missiles.
New radar contact. Designate. Track 7025.
Another radar contact in the distance. Give this a little bit of time to prepare. And there it goes.
023.
Firing away both of those missiles. Sorry for the flashbang. We're up in the clouds again.
Multiple hostile contacts.
And good hit. The other PT boat in the distance got hit there as well. Both of those taken out. Perfect. So we'll just check the range now. We're getting closer.
No track assigned.
What we can do is speed up our ships.
Ahead full. Maneuvering ahead flank. Maneuvering
We can go
ahead flank. Maneuver.
and set these to flank speed. We'll also bring the Sterret into range, although it's not going to be terribly useful at bombarding the ground targets here, unless I can use the missile to take them out. I don't think I can. So the idea will be to get these big guns on target to the Oklahoma City as those 5 guns on the front. But it will be able to fire away at these ground-based targets. And we'll just speed things up a little bit so we can get into range. And we are coming under fire ourselves. That's what you can hear coming in there. That's surface-based artillery firing from the shore here.
New radar contact designate track 7034.
Now these are going to be hostile targets. That's probably going to be one of the artillery. The plan will be to just bombard them to oblivion once we get into range. We've taken out all the PT boats that were trying to engage us, and they will be sinking all the way to the bottom.
Radar contact designate track 7036.
We can also turn off the sonar there. I just heard that.
Secure active sonar.
You can hear the sonar when you're underneath the water. It's actually really cool.
Contact designate track 7037.
So this could be more enemies. It could also be more fishing boats, the sampans. We do need to be a bit careful about that. We are in range.
Engage track 703.
It's far away.
Salvo fire.
As soon as the second gun gets in range, it should engage as well. Since I've right-clicked that track. We can have a look at where those shots are landing with the free cam. They'll be coming in shortly. There we go. And you can see they're landing near this gun that is being used to engage our ships.
We're hit.
So we just got to hope for a direct hit there, which should happen over time.
New visual contact designate track 7038.
So we're going to want to check the range on this one as well. It looks like these should be able to engage, so I'll let them engage as well.
Track 7033. Salvo fire.
Lloyd Thomas also has 127 mil. Just coming into range now.
Engage. We're hit.
Since they have guns on the front and the rear, they'll turn to the side to get shots on target. In the case of the Lloyd Thomas, both of its guns are on the front, and it has two on the back as well.
Engage track 7033. Salvo fire.
Let's bring the second set of guns to bear. It looks like they were both in range, I just hadn't selected both of them to fire. But the bombardment begins.
We're hit. Hit track 7033. Track 7033.
We took out that unit.
It's classified. Hostile building.
Perfect.
Turn to course 3. Turn to course. Turn to course 3.
So we can just select these to ceasefire.
Ceasefire. Track. Ceasefire. Track. Ceasefire. Track.
So we are being engaged by more trucks further up.
Hit track 7033.
That's going to be an enemy radar. You can click this information button to give you guys more information about what they suspect it might be.
New radar contact designate track 7041.
So I'm just going to set these on weapons free now, and we'll allow them to just engage enemy targets as we carry on. And you'll see that the ships will react to get their guns on target. We're going to maintain flank speed just so that we don't get hit. Sterret's also coming in to range.
Hit track 7003.
So it has this gun on the back.
Track 7038 is classified hostile building.
I'm assuming that's maybe guns on the side. The 76mm. Yeah. We'll keep heading forwards, flank speed,
We're hit.
with the Sterret so it can get in range. You can see that we have now taken out this anti-aircraft artillery as well. And we'll also be smashing the fuel tanks to pieces. Nice naval bombardment coming in. It's taken care of those. It's really, really cool when you look at it this.
We're hit.
Like, if you press spacebar, you can turn off the UI. We can just watch these units fire away their naval bombardment.
Track 703. Knife is classified hostile building.
Very, very cool.
Hit track 703.
You can see the explosions in the distance there.
New visual contact designate track 7042.
Looks like another installation over here. It's probably another artillery piece. We can mark that as hostile.
001.
These fuel tanks have been absolutely destroyed. It would have been cool if we could use the missiles on these, but these ships don't have that capability.
7002.
We're going to put weapons free on the Sterret as well, and you'll see that it will turn to the side so that we can use the rear gun here.
Hit track 7042. Track 70.
And the coastal artillery taken care of.
Hostile building.
And now it's just the industry buildings that will be hit next. The Sterret now joining the fun.
7002.
And there it is. We've done it. Objective complete. Most of the targets are destroyed. We can leave the area. That is mission complete. The industry buildings are destroyed. The fuel tanks are destroyed. And what an awesome introduction to Sea Power. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this first look at Sea Power.
Hit track.
It's a really fun game, and it's taught me a lot about naval combat and weaponry already, which is something that I always really enjoy about these kinds of games. You know, learning what the different weapons do, how the different sensors work, and so on and so forth. And it certainly goes into a lot of depth as you continue to play through this game. There are just so many different ships. Like, I think it's over 100 ships in the game already. So loads to mess around with. You've got submarines, you've got aircraft, which I'll be having a look at in future videos. But that is it for now. If we go to escape, we can exit and we can see our after action report, which is a decisive victory. And we can see the enemy losses. So they lost 4 P6 class boats, the 3 MiG-17s, 3 AA batteries, the 130mm coastal battery, 2 sets of fuel tanks, and the industrial buildings. And all of our units were undamaged, even after those bombs, which is nice. So we got the score of 1000%. But yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.